today we're going to do some single crochet, which is the basis for all of our projects. Well, in the beginning. Let's get started. Okay, so today we're doing single crochet. So to start, I'm just going to do a little bit of a chain. We already did that in another video, so if you haven't seen it, check it out. So we just want to chain one more than we actually need, so we're going to do 11 chains. Going back into the stitch you were just working on causes it to unravel. So we always skip the chain closest to our hook and go into the second from that. As you can see, this is the last chain we made, and this is what we're kind of sticking out of here. So that little hangman's noose that we talked about is what we're sticking out of. If we go back into it, it unravels the work that we're working on. So we always skip that, and we're going to move on to this second one. So the way I was taught was to go right through the middle of these little hangman's nooses that I keep talking about. Right there, and stick your hook under like that, so you've got 2 bits of yarn on one side and 1 bit of yarn on the other. See how I've got the 2 little bits on top? And you look on the other side, 1 piece of yarn there. Now I'm just going to pull the yarn here and tighten up the loop on my hook, and put the yarn over my hook, and pull it under these 2 bits of yarn. Now I have 2 loops on my hook. And I put the yarn over my hook and pull it through those 2 loops that were on my hook. This is a single crochet. Let me just show you again. So we're going to put the hook in the middle of that hangman's noose, put our yarn over, pull that yarn through, and then we're going to put the yarn on the hook again and pull it through those 2 loops. Now if we look on top, you can see that little loop on top, that little hangman's noose I keep talking about, the V. It's the top of our next row. So we're going to keep moving along this chain. So again, for the next one we go in, pull our yarn tight, pull our yarn over the hook and through. And now, as you can see, we have 2 loops on our hook. Alright, so yarn over and pull through those 2 loops, and there's another single crochet, if your yarn cooperates. We're going to go into the next one. And again, we're looking at these like the little hangman's nooses we talked about. Stick it in there. Yarn over. Pull it up. So we've got 2. Yarn over. And through. Now that I've shown you the most common way to do it, I'm just going to show you the way I do it, because it's how it's most comfortable for me. Now, as I said, we've got our little V's, our little hangman's noose. What I haven't mentioned is on the other side is the bottom of our stitch. It creates kind of an upside down triangle. So the bottom and the bottom has the 1, the top has the 2. So what I want to do is I want to go under just the top 2 and have the bottom be on the underside of my hook. So this is how my brain works. If you prefer going down the middle, that's perfectly fine, as long as you've got 2 bits of yarn on top and 1 bit of yarn on the bottom. It'll work out. Alright, here we go over, pull through, we have 2 on our hook, and then we put our yarn over our hook, pull through both loops. Again, I'm going to separate my triangle by taking the top 2 pieces of yarn away from the bottom one. So under the first, under the second, and there, as long as you've got 2 on top and the 1 on the bottom, you're doing great. Then we're going to pull the yarn over, pull it under those 2 loops, and now you've got 2 on your hook. And then we're going to put the yarn over the hook and pull through those 2 loops again. And we're going to just keep on doing it like that. As you continue, you really kind of repeat the mantra of Go under, make sure there's 2 on your hook, like those. Put your yarn over, pull it up. Now there's 2 on your hook, put your yarn over, pull through. And you're just going to keep doing that. Go under and into your triangle, yarn over, and pull through. Now we have 2, yarn over, and pull through. Don't worry if your hook slips, if it slips out of what you're doing. Sometimes it's going to do that. It's fine. Just stick it back in, keep going. And again, here's that side angle of my little triangle with the 1 underneath and the 2 up top. I mentioned both UK and US based crochet, but I'm actually in Canada, so call me doubly confused. I tend to switch between depending on what the designer calls for, and I see a lot of both. Though my favorite pattern designer is American based, and I do use a lot of their patterns, so I suppose I am more experienced in US based, but I'm pretty adept at figuring out the UK based as well. As we approach this final chain from our original slip knot, some of you may not be able to find this stitch. This last stitch, sometimes we pull it too tight in our attempt to be really thorough, and you'll get some practice at making it a little bit looser in the beginning so you can get through to this one. If you can, slip it under both, just like the others. Then yarn over, pull it through. Now you have 2 on your hook, yarn over again, and pull it through those 2 loops. And that's our first row of single crochet. If you look at the top of the work, you can see those little hangman's nooses along, and you can count them up to get 10 stitches. At the end of each row, we chain 1 so that we don't lose any stitches, because we can't go back into the stitch we were just working in or we'll unravel. So here we go, chain 1 by putting it over and pulling through the loop on your hook. That's all you had to do. Now you can start your next row. So again, we're ignoring this first stitch, that chain that we just made, and going into the next one so that we're not unraveling our work. And we're doing everything the way we're supposed to be doing. We're going to go into that second one, and we're going to go under these 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over again, pull through those 2 loops. There's our single crochet. Now that you're not on a chain, you've got a row here. It's not going to look like that pyramid I described, but you're still going under those same 2 loops that created that noose in the first place. And see here, if I separate them, you can see I've got 2 little pieces of yarn up top. That's our little V, our little circle, our hangman's noose, whatever you want to call it, whatever makes it stick in your brain. 2 pieces of yarn up top. 1 piece of yarn on the bottom. Yarn over, pull it through, we've got 2 on the hook, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops. Perfect! So now I'm going to continue across the row, just showing you a few more of these as we wrap up. But remember, it's going to take practice. They're not going to look just like this. They're not going to be perfect at first. Take some time. Don't be afraid to rip it all apart and start over again. It's totally fine. Practice makes perfect. Don't be discouraged if it looks easier than it is, and if it just comes out a big mess at first, that's totally okay. It's a learning experience. If you end up with big gaps or holes in it, that's also part of the learning experience. It's going to help show you how tense you need to be, how tight you need to hold that yarn in your hands. Learning is good. Making mistakes is good. So get out there, make mistakes, learn some stuff, do crochet. I believe in you. If you're a LARPer like me, this is the perfect way to make a sash or a belt. In the game I play, I'm a bard, obviously, so In the game I play, barred sashes are blue, which is why I chose this sparkly blue yarn to show off today, as this will one day be a nice sparkly blue sash. Once we're all done here, I'm just going to chain one again because that's how I finish all my rows, as if I'm going to go start another one, or if I was finished this piece, I would cut the yarn and just pull the hook away right here. Now, if you have a nice look at the back of this, you can see the rows that we've worked on, those 2 rows. And you can kind of see a ridge in between. You'll get better at being able to see the rows as you go. It's a work in progress, but there it is, single crochet. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.